And you thought the Winnie the Pooh horror movies were bad. And you thought the Mousetrap was bad. Well, baby, you ain't seen nothing until you seen Piglet. It's currently streaming on Tubi, and it was allegedly directed by Andrea M. Catanella and allegedly written by Harry Boxley. Not to be confused with John Moxley, because it's not badass. Only deep cut wrestling fans will get that. So you have a girl named Kate who wants to celebrate her 21st birthday. She gathers with some friends that really don't seem to actually care much about celebrating her birthday. In all honesty, it seems like everybody pretty much hates Kate. It's like John and Kate plus 8, except everybody hates goddamn Kate. It's like everybody hates Chris, except there's slightly less annoying characters in this. So, yeah, Piglet. It has nothing to do with the Winnie the Pooh horror movies. This is a spin-off, or rather rip-off, where you have a guy in a piglet mask that was apparently experimented on, and then he goes around killing people at a cabin in the woods, or a remote house in the woods. And while I didn't expect much based on the poster, while I didn't expect much based on the fact that it looked like the production values were $100,000 maybe, and that's even probably being a little bit generous, I'm probably about doubling the budget. Look, I understand if films have a low budget, you have to do what you can, and maybe this is the only work you can get, and maybe you are given the promise to make this, and you can make other projects, and that's fine. And I can take bullshit. I can take bad movies if they're fun. This isn't fun. This is complete and utterly putrid, moronic, bargain basement bullshit. There were gore effects that wouldn't have even passed for Windows Movie Maker 98. There are points in this movie where the music absolutely drowns out the dialogue. I think they found microphones from the 80s that were left in an unfurnished wet basement for 30 years and decided to use those. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry if everybody thought they worked hard on this, but there is no way that anybody could have thought that filming this over 3 weeks, and that's being generous, I think, a week probably, because the cutting room floor must have been spotless. You have a guy, again, in a piglet mask. You have the opening. I'm just going to pretty much throw a lot of spoilers in on this because it doesn't really fucking matter. So yeah, there's your warning. There'll be spoilers after this. It's on Tubi if you want to check it out. Or if you don't have Tubi and you don't want to basically get a streaming service that is free, you just have to deal with ads, you could throw a few bones on Amazon. I'm all about supporting independent filmmakers and supporting people, and I hope that everybody in this does one of two things. Gets better work or realizes maybe they need to find something to fucking do other than goddamn... Oh, I'm sorry. I try not to be mean-spirited, but Jesus, tap dancing Christ. So you have Alina Desmond, Alina, I don't actually know how you pronounce it. I don't necessarily care, but I don't mean any disrespect. She plays Kate. And Piglet, by the way, is played by Alexander Butler, proving once again that the Butler did it. And you have a guy named Mr. Hogarth, who actually runs this whole camp. There's this one funny line a little bit later on after a few characters got killed where they said, we can't find them. There's cabins everywhere. There is one fucking place. There is one place here. Who wrote this and thought that nobody would actually be paying attention? Would everybody just be watching the nice redheaded girl that got her tits out 20 minutes in? Sorry I didn't write her name down. She was cute. She had nice ink. That was about pretty much the only beneficial thing. This movie didn't even make me want to see two blondes make out in a goddamn hot tub. If you thought Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, was bad, at least that had proper lighting. It had at least, girls that tried. It at least tried to look like a movie. This looked like a fucking student film. A student, by the way, that was held back numerous years and then was basically shunned and had all their homework handed back to them, face down. And the teacher said, don't see me after class. I'm already being driven to drink enough as it is. I'm sorry, but this is dog shit. And it has to be called out as being dog shit. And movies like this are going to continue to get made, and people are going to continue to think that they're making even mildly trashy art. They need to be told that it's not. Can I make a movie? No, but that's why I review movies, and that's why I stay the fuck away from goddamn Hollywood or any kind of amateur filmmaking. I have seen horror movies on $200 to $300 budgets that have done better than this. I mean, Milk and Cereal. Look at Milk and Cereal on YouTube. That was made for maybe $3,000, and yes, there are a few scenes that obviously show the fact that that film had no money behind it. But at least in ingenuity, it didn't overstay its welcome. This is 80 minutes. This is 80 fucking minutes. With 20 minutes of material. So anyway, a birthday party arrives with, terrible dialogue. Terrible. Utterly putrid dialogue. And basically, in the beginning, we do see a couple cops in the back of this, apparently it's supposed to be a security vehicle, but it's more like a non-furnished delivery truck. I'm sorry, it really looked like a fucking delivery. It was absolutely astonishing. So yeah, Piglet apparently was experimented on. It could have been the same guy, the same doctor that experimented on, them and made Pooh and his friends a whole bunch of goofy monsters in the Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2. I don't know, and I don't care, really. I don't really care. Maybe they just maybe they just wanted to make it like, oh, we'll just have it be he's experimented on and he was nerdy and picked on and then he decided to kill. Apparently he killed a whole bunch of people in a goddamn prison and half the wardens. Remember that, because apparently those people were all fucking idiots. So yeah, the cops die in really hilarious ways. The woman cop, and I'm not even knocking her. I'm not knocking the actress one bit. But they made her look like an idiot. She had a gun. Her partner's being killed. She could have shot Piglet, emptied the clip. Even if it just slowed him down, she could have done something. But she didn't do that. So, I did find it funny just a bit before something was talked about, oh, even Mike's brother got killed. Was Mike the guy driving the truck? Who was Mike? I don't really care, by the way, who any of these characters are. It seems like some of this was edited with garden shears. So he's got a Piglet mask, and Hogarth is helping him out. I do have to say, I'm sorry, the guy that plays Mr. Hogarth, he pulls off some expressions that are funny. They're not scary. It's scary that they thought that these should be left in the movie. But there's a girl named Judith, or Judy, who is the bitch of the group. I'm talking about the character, not the actress. Bless her. And yeah, pretty much from there, we get bad acting, bad dialogue. It's like if Terror 10 Killer had slightly worse sound design. And if you have seen Terror 10 Killer, you know that's not a compliment. So, yeah, then suddenly the redhead with her tits out got hooked. I feel bad for saying that because I'm not trying to degrade her, but that's what her character was. I'm not degrading the actress. And then I guess the guy didn't apparently die. The guy that was on top of the redheaded girl that got her tits out, that got hooked. But then an officer arrives, takes care of that. Don't worry, it's fine. The officer's fine. The officer isn't in on this at all. So, by the way, the blondie, I think her name was Courtney, she was with them. She was drawing people, had her headphones on, and did not realize that all this stuff was happening. And, yeah, they were apparently supposed to arrive with this group. They didn't. And then people just end up getting killed indiscriminately. There was a story told about Catherine, who liked Piglet, and they affectionately called him Piglet, which I don't know about affectionately calling somebody Piglet. And yeah, Judy basically makes a comparison with this story to Kate having a bad relationship experience where her boyfriend apparently beat her, a guy named Spencer. I mean, all right, there's something about trauma here that actually could have maybe worked. I am digging here to find anything that could have worked. Like, yeah, somebody on her 21st birthday celebrating with friends that really aren't her friends because her friends don't have her best interests or any interests or seem to really have a goddamn light bulb on. I think everybody turned their light switch off and just decided to act in this movie. Horribly, I might add. There is a point where a girl gets killed in the shower. It's objectively hilarious. I imagine that the cleaning budget for this particular bed and breakfast cabin was probably higher than the actual budget for the movie. Or maybe it was half the budget. Oh, we gotta clean up the fake blood. By the way, I'm sorry, but the blood splatters, the violence in this, if you can't afford to show shit, just don't fucking show it. I saw a Riff Trax movie called Jack O. That was a 1995 terrible slasher that somehow had better production values than this. And it looked like maybe they spent $50 to $100 on that goddamn thing. Sound design's overpowered by the music. During the part where Judy's telling the goddamn story, or Judith, or whatever the fuck her goddamn name is, it's overwriting the thing. Not that I want to hear the dialogue anyway, but if you're going to have people talk, maybe you could at least tone the music down? No, can't do that. Then there's a point where a guy named Brett shows up. He'd been trying to warn them to leave before any of this happened because he's a hunter and he doesn't want to hunt on that land. And he knows about all this stuff or suspects. And he shoots Piglet. By the way, there's like a 3-second delay, which, yes, I know some people might react like holy shit, I got shot. But not when it's a double barrel and you are not that far away. I think you're going to feel that. Good adding. Good adding. And then Kate wants to save Susie because Susie in the interim got shot in the leg because Hogarth was in on this whole thing. Shot Susie in the leg. Susie is like the only other fleshed out character here. And then that Brett guy gets his head smashed into this like wooded thing. It almost looked like a goddamn Iron Maiden or torture rack. Not Iron Maiden, but torture rack or something. Yang. And then basically Susie is trapped and Kate goes to save her. But then she says, no, you can't save me, even though my leg is shot. You can't save me. Get to the road. Don't worry, I love you. I've always loved you, and that kind of stuff. And and I've always loved you. This movie's about the same as Whitney Houston after she took her last bath. And the movie deserves to meet the same fate. Not the actors in it, but the movie itself. It deserves to be drowned in a goddamn tub until it stops moving. So, Kate finds the officer, but the officer's in on it. There are 3 brothers. There is a foot for a birthday cake. And the idea is Piglet is going to mate with Kate. And, by the way, Piglet can't be killed. Remember that. Piglet cannot be killed. He's indestructible. You can shoot him and stab him and he can't die. So then, by the way, we have just about 8 to 10 minutes left at this point. She gets the officer to want to fuck her, and then she stabs him in the dick repeatedly. She manages to kill Hogarth. By the way, Kate is probably the least effective out of anybody in this as far as a character. And manages to kill Hogarth. How in the world were they not taken over by a goddamn slight breeze? And then she runs away in a car, or drives away in a car. Finds a guy won't help her. He gets killed. Terrible acting by that guy, by the way. I'm sorry. And then she crashes the car blows up, which, now that I think about it, was probably the other half of the budget. Everybody else probably got paid like 50 euros or whatever. I think this was filmed in the UK. It had to have been. It was depressing enough to be filmed in the UK. It was depressing enough to be filmed in the Pacific Northwest. So, by the way, that's where I'm from, just in case anybody's watching this and thinking I'm being, mean towards the Brits. No, I actually think there are tremendous British filmmakers and actors and people in the UK that are absolutely great. Just none of them were featured here. And then, by the way, she manages to knock out Piglet with, some kind of road spike or whatever. And then is hitting him on the side of the face, which, yes, you don't want to actually hit the actor, but at least edit it and do a more creative shot. And then she manages to axe and cut his head off. This is for my friends and all this. She cuts his head off and throws it away and then it ends. No, seriously, that's how it ends. I guess he is killable. Fuck it. Just fuck it. Just fuck all this. I didn't expect much, and somehow this might actually make it into my worst movies of the year list. None of the Winnie the Pooh movies did. Those at least tried. Mousetrap at least tried. It wasn't good. And this is somehow worse. And yes, taking into account the budgetary constraints still, this movie is completely, utterly putrid and deserves every bit of hate it's goddamn getting. And anybody that thought that they were making anything good, I hope they had fun making it. I do hope that. But outside of that, the studio should be fucking ashamed for doing this. Because they got shoved out onto Tubi really quickly. I saw this was on Amazon to rent for, God, I think it was like about 10 to 12 bucks. I'm like, fuck you, that's about the goddamn budget of the movie. And then it was shoved out on Tubi, so I'm like, alright, I'll give it a shot. This isn't a plug for Tubi, by the way, but at least you can avoid paying for stuff if you watch stuff like this. People deserve to get paid. People deserve to get paid for their films. and people deserve to have successful careers. But none of that was applied. None of the, success was applied to this. Nothing about this movie deserves to be successful. I'm sorry. Everybody else, they can find something else to do, take some goddamn acting classes. Whoever did the sound design needs to say, hey, the next time, let's actually work with somebody that wants to work with music that doesn't want to drown us out. I'm trying to be nice here. I'm really trying to be nice, but I just ranted and raved and just slaughtered this goddamn thing because this movie slaughtered my expectations, which, by the way, were already underground. Terrible. Anyway, it's F. F, by the way, in case you didn't understand it. Agree, disagree with what I said? Like, share, subscribe. Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Ritlin, and I'll see you soon.